Hi, Thomas Stevenson. I'm gonna show you my favorite core exercises, and we're gonna start with hollow body, and then we're gonna go over to, I call it just half around the floor. You can call it maybe different names. And then from half around the floor, we're gonna also go over to leg lifts. You can also do, for example, arm raises, and everything is happening on the back. So basically, this is where we start with the hollow body. So the point of hollow body is to make our lumbar spine, the lower part of the spine, in contact with the ground all the time. So that's why this is a good position to start. And you have to kind of like squeeze yourself in like this. So you're tightening your belly. You're tightening a lot of things. Get your toes together and just see how far you can stretch out your legs. So if this is okay and you can still not get your hands under, perfect. But if you go too far and you suddenly lose that tension and you can get your hands over, you're just going to back up a little bit. So you have to investigate your body, find out how you can keep that tension so all of this part of your back stays on the ground. So feeling is understanding, and feeling is what gives also results and muscle activations. And then you go as slow as you can. And now you can do the same with the hands. So starting with the hands over you and taking your hands as far as you can go without losing form. So you keep your spine into the ground. If you can go all the way like this, a little difficult to talk when I'm doing it, but then you're gonna tense up the entire part of your core and also continue into your legs, and also continue as you take your shoulders and your hands to see how far you can get length out your legs and length out your arms. And this position you can hold for maybe just 30 seconds, up to maybe you can hold it longer if you like. But as you're holding this position, you're tightening everything and you're focusing on letting your breathing be as deep as possible without losing tension, without losing your lower back into the ground. So that's why taking the chin to the chest can also help that activation. So again, you're starting here to feel that you have your lower part of your back in the ground, and then you just see how far you can extend yourself. Here, here, or here. And from this hollow body position, we can do so many cool things. We can also move into like a dynamic type of hollow body to a tight boat. Keep the legs on the ground if it's very difficult, or keep them up. And you're kind of rolling back and see if you can land the lower part of your spine first. And then you can use some speed with your hands. And see if you can reach your hands as far as you can forward while pulling your knees toward your chest. So you really get that good activation of coming together and then coming apart. And use more speed if you need with the legs. And go for 10. Six. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. 0. And this is gonna give you a lot of good training for your core, the hollow body, by using it in concentric, eccentric, and static ways. So if you're looking at people training gymnastic, top athletes, the reason why they got so definition and they have so much, they also have control, but they also have the body that have designed with looking really fit, looking really muscular, because they combine these three elements: dynamic, meaning movements in the muscles, concentric, taking something to you, pulling the fibers together, and eccentric, using force to get the muscle fiber to get away from each other, and then also just holding static, isometric, in many positions. So then you get like the full activation of your muscles when you use all of those three elements: positive, negative, and holding, static, in different holds. So in the hollow body, we was holding it on the floor and coming together, and then holding it again, and then going back to the floor. So now we can take the next exercise. I call this exercise half around the floor, because it's difficult to go around the floor or through the floor. So basically, it's kind of like half around the world, or around the world, but you keep the same principle, but this time I'm gonna turn myself a little bit so I have space. Take your arms to the side and have support here, and then you're gonna go as far as you can to one side and lifting. Feel that you're lifting, breaking with your obliques and lifting with your obliques, the muscles of the side of your belly, and to the other side. See, if I'm right here, the movement is to just go side to side, keep my arms out so I have balance. And if it's too heavy, you can bend the knees. Bending the knees makes it easier. So if I'm also turning the other way, you can see it maybe better. I have my hands out here. I keep my chin a little tucked, so I keep my lower back on the floor. Of course, when I go to the side, I'm going to lose the lower back on the floor. But when I go up again, I land my lower back on the floor and go to the side. So we can also take 10 here, counting from 8 and down. 7. 6. 5. If you want to go heavier with this exercise, you can also go in circle. So you go over your head and a big circle around in front, to the side, over your head. So we have 3 more rounds on each side. So 3 rounds here, and then shifting direction, 3 rounds here. And I'm lifting myself up a little bit, so I'm lifting my butt over the floor, keeping my lower spine into the ground, especially when I'm going around. And see if I can point my toes all the way, paying attention to not crash into my furnitures. And there you have half around or all around the floor. So the next thing we can do is leg lifts, or kind of more calling it hip lift. Laying on the ground, and you take a rest between the sets, and now you keep your hands next to your hip here. So you want to lift, shoot your legs up, and as you shoot your legs up, you keep the weight on your shoulder blades and supporting with your hands. So I'm shooting my hip up with my legs and breaking down. And here you can do it more hard. Just don't go all the way up, and try to go very slow down. So as we're going up, this is too easy. Now I'm resting. I'm using a lot of other muscle supports. But if I just feel that I should feel it here constantly all the time, I'm going up, breaking down. So when I go up in this way, I feel I'm fully activated. The muscle starts to burn. And slow down. And from this exercise, you can really feel that you use a lot of the muscles that go from below your navel and deep into your hip. And this is some of the muscles that are important to target, not just the psoas that lifts your legs, but also the deeper core muscles into your abdomen. So that's why I've tried to feel that you lift just a little bit. And slow down. And try to hold when you get to your maximum holding capacity. And sink, slow down. So we go 5 more here. You can never have too strong core. That's my philosophy. 5. 4, you can take your legs down if you like. 3, stretching out, get a little extra break in between. 2, 1. Zero. Okay, really good. And these 3 exercises you can combine set after set after set. So you have, let's say, 3-4 sets with 10 repetitions, and you take hollow body first, then you go over to half around or all around the floor, and then you go over to leg lifts. I told you something about arm lifts too. If you want to take it all the way after you finish lifting your legs, you can also point your toes and see if you can just reach your fingers to your toes. Try to go up and hold and go down. Holding and feel the connection, your entire abs, and reach you're creating. So these exercises, you take one by one, and then just repeat the entire session 2-3 more times. So it becomes like a superset with 3 exercises for the core, and I promise you, if you go through this, you're gonna have a good pain when you're laughing. Thanks for watching. Please share and comment. You need a good core, and we all need good core support. See you around.